Prophet Suleiman was a wise prophet. After the throne was brought to him, he ordered that its design be changed. As the Queen of Sheba approached his land, she began to notice strange things along the way. What her messengers had told her was true. Unusual and extraordinary events were happening here. The closer she came to the palace, the greater her amazement grew. She saw part of Suleiman's army, the most powerful, terrifying, and extraordinary army ever gathered on earth. Her fear increased, her heart raced, and her breath grew short. She realized this was not something humans could achieve. There had to be a higher spiritual power behind it. The pride and confidence she once felt in her own kingdom began to fade. By the time she reached the city, her ego and arrogance had sunk into the ground. Her fear slowly turned into admiration. Soon, Balkis stepped into the magnificent palace Suleiman had built. What she saw was unlike anything she had ever witnessed. Suleiman's kingdom was not built only on wealth and power, but also on incredible art and architecture. Golden columns, doors decorated with jewels, and fine craftsmanship dazzled her eyes. The most stunning sight was the palace entrance. The floor was made of crystal clear glass with flowing water underneath. It was so transparent and shining that it looked like a deep pool. When Balki reached the palace entrance, she thought it was water. To avoid getting wet, she lifted her dress. But Prophet Suleiman said, "There is no need to lift your garment. This is a clear crystal floor. Walk across it." After she crossed, Suleiman showed her the throne. Balkis was astonished. Suleiman asked, "Is your throne like this?" The queen looked carefully. At first she did not know what to say. She recognized it as her throne, but something seemed different. Then, on closer look, she realized it was indeed hers, brought from her palace before she arrived, with changes made to its design. This was yet another proof of Suleiman's power. Balkis was filled with admiration and thought deeply. She realized how weak her nation's beliefs were compared to the wisdom and truth of Prophet Suleiman. She understood that the sun she and her people worshipped was nothing but a trap made attractive by Satan. For the first time, the brightness of the sun went dark in her heart, and a new light, one that never sets, filled her soul. The queen decided it was time to declare her faith. With sincere feelings, she admitted that she had been deceiving herself, and she accepted Islam. Soon after, Prophet Suleiman and Queen Balkis were married. As a result of these events, the people of Sheba followed their queen. In a short time, they abandoned sun worship and began to bow only to Allah. According to Islamic sources, Prophet Suleiman lived for about 500 years. One day, as he marched with his army, they approached the Valley of the Ants. At that moment, he heard the voice of one of the ants calling out, "O ants! Go into your homes, so that Suleiman and his army do not crush you without noticing." When Suleiman heard these words, he smiled and replied to the ant, "My kingdom is temporary. The life of this world is limited, but the reward of saying La ilaha illallah, the oneness of Allah, is eternal." Allah had given Prophet Suleiman a life full of miracles and glory. He was both a king and a prophet. But when the end of his life came, a surprising death awaited him. One day Suleiman withdrew into his private chamber in the palace. The doors were closed. Alone in silence, he suddenly noticed a young man standing with him in the room. "Who are you?" he asked. The young man replied, "O Prophet of Allah, peace be upon you." Suleiman asked, "How did you enter here?" The young man answered, "O Suleiman, I am the one whom the guards at your door cannot stop. The palaces I enter fall silent. The bodies I visit soon lie in the soil." At these words, Suleiman realized this was the angel of death, Azrael. Leaning on his staff, Suleiman stood and spoke with Azrael. Then, as his soul was taken, the prophet remained standing, still resting upon his staff. Days and months passed. People who saw Suleiman standing at his staff thought he was alive. Out of respect, they did not disturb him. Even the jinn believed he was still alive. They continued working under his command, carrying out the hard and humiliating tasks he had set for them. But then, a small termite began to gnaw at his staff. As the days passed, the wood weakened and decayed. Finally, it broke, and Suleiman's body fell to the ground. Only then did everyone realize that Prophet Suleiman had died long before. The Quran tells us about this event, showing us that even the jinn do not know the unseen. They did not realize he had died until a creature of the earth ate away his staff. And when he fell, the jinn understood that if they had known the unseen, they would not have remained in humiliating labor. The jinn were left in shock. Their master had long been dead, and they had been working in vain, carrying out heavy labor for nothing. Thus ended a kingdom unlike any other in history. Suleiman was the only prophet who ruled over the jinn. After him, no one ever had, and no one ever will have, such power. With the death of Prophet Suleiman, Allah caused the ring on his finger to disappear. The ring was lost, and until today many people across the world are still searching for it. The children of Israel also returned to the books of magic and Kabbalah that Suleiman had forbidden and buried, and they began to study them again. In Beit al-Maqdis, the sanctuary built with the help of the jinn, rested the Holy Ark of the Covenant. But not long after Suleiman's death, King Nebuchadnezzar attacked Jerusalem, burning the city and destroying it. The time of Prophet Suleiman had taken place in the sacred site, known then as Beit al-Maqdis, which today we call Masjid al-Aqsa. Over the centuries, this sanctuary was destroyed and rebuilt several times, and eventually became known by the name we know today. The story told in our noble Quran is a sign of the greatness of knowledge, the honor of scholars, and the fact that knowledge is a blessing from Allah, a blessing that requires gratitude. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. With your support, we can reach more people and share this story further. See you in the next video on Religious Story TV. May Allah protect you.